Hello and welcome to the Rise Creating Your Voice. I am Judah Bernard with the Rise Creating Your Voice. I am the wisdom dialoguer and the motivational warrior of the Rise Creating Your Voice. We just want to welcome you to today. Welcome you to today. Today is Tuesday. Here. So we are here talking about why do I do what I do. I want us to be quite honest with ourselves and why we do what we do. Because basically, we need to start assessing why we do what we do. And sometimes, whether it's negative or good, why do we do it? We're waiting for our co-host to come on. We want to apologize for last Tuesday. We had a lot going on last Tuesday. We just want to be thankful for still being able to be alive and just enjoying every moment that we have here on Earth. So I want to start off with why do we do what we do? Why do I do what I do? Why do Judah do what he does? My main focus of why I do what I do is I'm basically guided by the principles of Jesus Christ and God and the Holy Spirit, and actually being into the will of God. Why I do what I do is become patient and peace because God offers me that. He don't want me negative. He don't want me angry. He don't want me doing a lot of things because he doesn't deal with a lot of confusion. So I want people to understand that we do things. Number one, if you look at it from a behavioral perspective, that behavioral perspective is anybody that have been in an environment for about 2 to 5 years are going to pick up some traits or behaviors in the people that they live around or group they associate with. You probably need to start assessing the group that you associate with because once you start seeing those behaviors that you pick up, whether they're good or bad, it might not be so great for you. So we have to understand that some people do just pick up bad behaviors. Some people pick up good behaviors from their group. Some people pick up good behaviors from the environment they're around. Some people pick up negative behaviors that the environment they're around. And we want to welcome one of our co-hosts, James Sims, to the room too as well. How you doing today? Can you hear me?
Doing well. How you doing, man?
Okay, there you go. You must was on mute. I'm doing
Can you hear
well.
me?
We doing. Yes,
Can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you. Can you hear me? Yes, I can. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Well, I can't hear you
Right.
now.
I can hear you. Kind of going in
Okay.
and out, but I can hear you. I
Yeah,
can hear you.
we
Kind of
have that
going in and out.
delayed entry here in the country.
It's going in and out, but I can see you.
Okay.
How about now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, great. We're both in probably the same situation. Are
I
you at
can
home?
hear you.
Okay, great. So we want to just talk about why do we do what we do, and that's the topic for today.
Yes.
And I did say it again. Hello.
I ain't saying anything.
Okay. The topic today is
I'm
why
here.
do we do what why do we do what we do, and that's why we picked this topic today because basically we understand that many people do what they do, whether it's negative or bad behavior or good behavior, that sometimes in learning from an environment that you learn these behaviors, whether they're negative or good. So what we want to really emphasize that number one is I started off with God being my first priority and me accepting Christ and surrendering to Him. I possess more good behaviors because of doing His will. Some of the negative behaviors have gone because I've asked for that and wanted to surrender and do what the right thing is to do. Whether people choose to think anything that's right is wrong or anything like that. But then again, I want people to understand is only you know what's right in your own atmosphere and what God has for you. One thing that people try to say that, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, or what do we try to do, or I need to do this because this we always have an excuse about why we need to do something. If you have an excuse in why you need to do something, you probably don't need to do it. So we want to definitely put the emphasis on why do what you do. To the listening audience, when you listen to this, I want you to really ponder that question. Why do what you do?
And I think a lot of people,
Sometimes, go ahead.
I think a lot of people don't even think about it sometime. And then because actually when I seen what the topic was, it made me go and think about why do I do what I do. And and I went through a lot of different challenges to determine that because I went to youth and what I was taught, and then when you really have a spiritual understanding, it makes a difference to where it brings about a definite about what you want to do or why you do what you do. So I know I even was trying to find myself or trying to be like other folk, and you did things because other people did them. You was trying to see whether or not it was what you wanted to do, either if it wasn't good or bad, but just to see if you wanted to do it. And sometimes, I think peer pressure and family pressure, all kind of pressure, cause you to do certain things until you really find yourself and start really concentrating and thinking about why do I do what I do. So I'm like you. My priorities are spiritual and God first, and then everything else falls into under that category. So it is to me, since I've gone that direction, I find myself, uh, I guess, at have more peace. I have more satisfaction. I have more definiteness of myself. I like myself more. So, and that's very good for a person to like themselves and not like yourself just be like it, but like for the righteous that you do. So that's why I do what I do because of the righteous.
And I love to hear that because I think basically, if people understand why they do what they do, basically, like I spoke about it earlier, and you spoke about it too as well about the environment. Whether you're around your family, whether you're around friends, whether you're around a group, whether you're at work, sometimes you pick up on bad behaviors at work. And so it's a lot of things that people unconsciously or subconsciously pick up those behaviors, and then you notice then that you're doing them in another environment because you want to be different from the environment now that you're new to. So we have to understand what we do and why we do it too as well, and that is just leading to definitely self-assessing yourself.
True,
When you see that you're in a lot of negative behaviors or a lot around of negative people, you're going to act negative.
true,
Those people will energize you to act negative. And yes, I did say energize you because guess what? The more negative things you hear and the more negative things you be around, the more negative you're going to become
true,
because it's going to be instilled in you. It's going to be a learned behavior, and you're not going to know how to get out of it until you're actually in it.
true,
And then you're going to be like, wow. And that's why I want people to start self assessing themselves because basically you're in it now. And sometimes unconsciously you don't know that you're doing it.
true. Well, let's take the January 6th situation.
Oh yes.
I happen to see some of the thing uh, aired today on the third session of it, and there's a lot of things coming out now about the ex-president knowing about some of the things. Matter of fact, the chief executive secretary to one of his head men testified today about some of the things and how things were, and I mean it was so emphatic in Pearson that it triggered the ex-president to start tweeting and start saying things about it. So evidently, it really it triggered him, and to the point. So I'm afraid for the young lady's life. She's only 26 years old, but she said that when things started happening, well, her chief officers told her that January 6th gonna be a lot of bad things gonna happen. Made her, she said that was the first time she really felt frightened. So a lot of people are waking up to a lot of the things that are going on. That's some of the things that a lot of people went out now on a thought that they were going doing the right thing because of what he said. So there was influence there. So now they have an opportunity to uh, think about why do I do what I do. So I'm hoping that some of them will stand and do the right thing. But you got so many of them still prone to do what they do. So that just come on the situation, and church hurts and a lot of other things. Why do we do what we do? So I mean, this is just a lot of things out there that we need to really concentrate on. And one thing I really found out: everything that we do will be paid for. So it ain't nothing gonna go unpaid for. So we still got to pay for it.
That's totally agreeable. But I want to definitely talk about the January 16th. But I
Right.
want to also go to Ephesians 6 and 12 and say, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual weaknesses in high places. So we got to understand that these things are happening, and it's going to come to a forefront. He said he will rise up a nation that will obey, and
Mm-hmm.
that's God. And one thing we have to understand, with James talking about that, um, it's just going to come out in the open.
Correct.
What's done in the dark will come out, regardless of whether you have so much money, so much power, and things like that. But the things will come out in retrospect, like James said, that you're going to have to pay for it
Don't pay for it.
regardless.
Mm.
In the end, it's not going to be a good situation. But as we continue on, we got to understand that where we are placed in situations too, as well, and we have to make sure that we're ethically correct.
Right.
Although we might have ethical dilemma, as long as you're standing your ground and standing for on the word of God, no one can move you from that.
True.
So now, if you move, then I I'm questioning why you do what you do.
Right.
So I'm standing so firm on the word. For God I live, for God I die. I can't continue to say that to everyone because basically we have to come to the understanding of what is truth
Mm.
and what is your real truth.
True.
And many people are misinformed.
True.
Some people don't have knowledge. Some people lack knowledge.
True.
Some people lack wisdom.
True.
And I've never been just a follower. I'm more of let me hear what they gotta say first,
True.
and then let me make my opinion from that.
True.
But I think for me, I don't want to watch that January 16th. For those who do know, I do live in Washington D.C. and actually 2 blocks from the January 6th event, and it's quite terrifying
Mm.
for me. Um, so that's why I don't speak about it a lot because being in the actual vicinity
Right.
and things that I couldn't do during that time for about 2 weeks, I even go out of my own place of where I lived because they were still around.
Right.
So we were. It was different. It was different to be knowing that I live in the nation's capital.
True.
That it was that happened, and we're in 2022, or what was that? Yeah, it was 2022. That we're still fighting. We
Mm.
still warring. We still lack wisdom. We still lack knowledge. We still lack understanding. But then again, those people who still want that power and things like that, that's exactly what it is. That's what it's going to end up like. most of the time it turns into total confusion, and everybody's got to take the blame now.
True.
So, as we say every time, that every time I sit on its own bottom, and this is the time that we're just in session 3, as James said. I'm sure it's going to be many more sessions,
Yeah.
but things happen for a reason, and this comes into light of how people have been playing games.
Right.
So that's where I am on that. So they did what they do and how they do it. And could be some environmental thing that they learned, or in their family or something like that. I don't know for sure, but I know some people do it because they saw somebody else get away with it
Mhm.
and thinking they're going to get away with it. But it doesn't work like that all the time. So we must realize that um, just because one person did it don't mean you need to do it too as well.
True.
And whatever agenda. And why do we do what we do? We have agendas and different things like that. So we have a lot of things that could be in play for the January 16th. We don't know. That's for I know God is not going to. I don't know who is going to reveal it. But I guess it will be revealed through these sessions because we have eyewitnesses, we have people that were there that are
True.
witnessing and testifying to what actually happened. So I'm thankful for those people that are testifying and being witnesses to what happened because it brings light on their character.
Right.
So that's a great thing. Um, and I'm just I don't watch it, but when it pan out, I want to hear the end. Let's say that.
True that.
Because I know that God is still in the place and He's still in the building. He's hey, He's a ruler over all, good and evil,
Yeah.
good
Is.
and the bad. He's gonna rule you still. So I
He's
think
still
people need
God,
to
man.
understand that, huh?
I say he's still God.
Still God, and nothing changes about Him.
No.
Nothing. So, the things that is Gerald there today?
Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, why do you do what you do?
Huh?
I said, why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do?
That's a good question, right?
That is a question. I guess I do the things that I do to make sure that I'm doing what I want to do for myself, but not
Hmm.
necessarily just for myself. I do the things that I do, a lot of times to just help other people and to give or share the knowledge that I have with other people, to be able to just try to help them in a manner in which that maybe that I can see that they either need help or just don't know, and try to explain things in a way that they can understand, to try to help them to either learn some things or even do things that they do even better. But the things that I do, I just pretty much just do them because I know it makes me feel good, and also trying to help other people so that they can also feel good as well.
I like that. I like that. I think one of my mentees asked me, said, "Why am I depressed?"
Hmm.
I was like, "Wow."
Why are you depressed?
No, that's what he asked me. Why was he depressed?
Yes,
Oh.
His
you
his
why
his
he
question
felt.
to me is, why was he depressed?
Oh.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, let me go back real far." And what one thing that I asked him is, how do you know you're depressed?
Right.
Because you ask him why, but I need to know the how.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He said
If
that's he
have
said
you
that's a
felt
good question.
Wow.
Because so many times we say we feel a certain way, and it may not be that expression in which we feel,
true?
but
Could
we're
be
using
more
it in a term because it's a learned behavior of feeling depressed, and these are the symptoms that you exhibit when you feel depressed.
Right.
But what if it's not really depression?
it could be morally in session.
Right.
Yes.
Morally in session. I mean that you've been doing things immoral.
Mm.
Right.
And it's not depressed, it's incest.
And like I asked him, I said, let me ask you a question now. Are you grieving or are you depressed? Because those are two different things.
True that.
Right.
And some people cannot relate to what the difference between the two are.
True.
And so we are constantly, number one, misdiagnosing ourselves why we do what we do
Hmm.
because of society puts this barrier. Society builds this big umbrella of say, well, this is what you feel like, and we still have easy access to Google, and then we look up depression and see if we have the symptoms, and now we're diagnosed.
Hmm. Then
Um,
you have some of these people, they do all this googling and looking at these symptoms, and then they self impose these symptoms that they read upon
Right.
themselves and say, yeah, I've been feeling this way, I've been feeling that way, and then they say, oh yeah, this is what I have. But they wind up doing it because of something that they read.
right. It's called Dr. Google.
Impressive on themselves what they read.
Right. Impressed up on their red, and guess what? Because now I don't really need to go to the doctor and pay out $300 or $25 copayment or anything. I am now the doctor.
Mm.
I am now the nurse practitioner. I am now the. But I hear people, oh, well, because I feel depressed because I don't know why.
Mm.
I'm looking like, mm,
One thing they don't think about the moral impression.
right.
Wrong, it's gonna come out. You know,
Hmm.
think of it's not gonna just say, okay, here I am. You're gonna feel the effect of it, but you might say it's depression, but it's more impression than it is depression of things you've done. You just got to act it out, or you got to live through it. Ask for forgiveness so you can maybe shorten it. I mean, those type things are not talked about. It's just depression or fatigue, all the other things, but moral impressions are never mentioned.
And you're right. Most of those things are not mentioned because of the taboo that's been in the black and brown community. No, you're not crazy, or no, and nothing's wrong with you. Just go sit down. And I think what we really need to
Mm.
realize is something may be wrong, but we really probably don't know exactly what it is until we go and see someone
Right.
that's a professional, a medical professional.
True,
And one thing is we constantly go into um, fight or flight mode. We wait till it get worse
true.
instead of trying to get better while it's just low key.
Hmm.
We don't try to manage the pain. We wait till the pain increases, then we try to manage it. That's too late now because it probably can go into something totally different. So why did we do what we do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's what a lot of people, because you stop and you think like, wow, I could have done this a little bit better had I just did this at in October versus
Right.
next year. And then why sometimes we don't actually initiate the pain and try to keep going. I think for a lot of people, especially people that I know of, they just continue to go on without identifying that they're having pain, and they don't want nobody to know they're having pain.
Hmm.
Right.
Then they stop, and then they think about like, oh, now it got worse. But why did we not manage that small pain at the beginning?
Because it was bearable. We think we can get through it. Not thinking about the fact it's a problem. You address it.
Hmm.
You want to wait till it get worse.
Well, let's talk about this right now while we're listening and people listening on the line. If you have pain, whatever kind of pain, was it mental, physical, or whatever,
Hmm.
go and see someone. Don't wait until the pain gets deeper, worse, because now it's probably not manageable.
Right.
The one thing is wherever that pain is, because physically we can manage if it's a small acute pain, but when it
Hmm.
comes too big to handle, it's something totally different. Then you're looking at more disease just coming in and coming in. and we don't know what might happen after that. So I think people really, really need to take a big, big, big step back in assessing themselves and say, why do I do what I do? Why do I
Mm,
sit here and feel this pain and I let nobody know? Then I wait till later on and the pain is worse.
true
It's
that.
all about self love. It's about self love. If you love yourself, you're going to initiate that pain from the beginning. Say,
True.
hey,
Right.
look,
Well, it's self love,
something not right, huh? Go ahead.
or whether or not you have what, whether or not you got accessibility to insurance or finances to cover the situation. I mean, a lot of things that's there. I mean, we can talk about all the things, but then there are situations that cause us not to go as well. I mean, I know in the black and brown community, it has been because of the stigma that was put there, but it was also the fact that it didn't have the finances or the insurance or the, I guess, the opportunity,
Accessibility.
accessibility to get all the things that we need. Those are a lot of the situation as well. So,
Well,
and
I
that's
do. Go
still the
ahead.
case in a lot of cases. Don't have
And and
accessibility.
and I understand that, but now we have so many resources now. We have mobile clinics.
True,
Um,
true,
we have a lot of things, mobile clinics, and I do understand geographically, some people are not, have as much as needed. But then again, just get an annual checkup.
true,
And I do understand the insurance part, but then again, we have federally
true,
qualified health centers that do a sliding fee. Some of them are free. So it depends on what you want to do. I bet you can go out and get a new car
And
without
you,
that accessibility. I bet you can go out and get your hair done without that accessibility.
yeah,
they
So it's
have,
about being that, huh?
yeah,
Say it again.
but they have places even now, in the rural areas that are not as accessible to certain doctors or something like that. But there are also places that offer um, health care at a reduced rate or a prorated
Hmm.
fee or even free clinics, because there are some places that have free clinics to where they have that they're able to go, but they have to go on certain days. But there are clinics that are
Right,
out there now that are free to those that are in need.
right. So I'm definitely just trying to make sure that our brown and black community, if not our
well, I
brown
guess
and
you
black community, just
know
go
all
ahead.
your opportunities.
Say it again.
No, you go ahead.
Oh yes, it's about knowing your options, but then
But
again,
go ahead.
what are what options do we need to know when? I mean, I I have to ask now is I know everybody don't have a cell phone, but if you just go to your local grocery store and you go and ask somebody, I'm sure somebody in there has some type of insurance or somewhere they go. We lost the touch of communication. Let's think about Mississippi, Kent, Mississippi, back in
True,
James days. Y'all didn't probably have accessibility, but y'all probably asked around and say, "Well, who's the greatest doctor around here?" Or who's this? And then y'all went into that specific doctor, right?
true,
So I think more so it's the lack of communication,
true.
it's the lack of
If we didn't have,
go ahead. You say
I
y'all don't
mean,
have too many?
you're right. I mean, we
Yeah.
got better communication or better ways to communicate, huh? But
Go
we
ahead.
still don't utilize our communication that we have.
And that is so true. That is so true. One thing we have to realize, number one, is that we're all in this together. If we all just communicate, I don't care, black, brown community, white community, Hispanic community, Mexican community, whatever nationality or ethnicity that you are, it's about being able to communicate.
True.
Languages, yes, there may be a language barrier, but then again, they have apps that translates because I don't speak Swahili and all that stuff in Japanese, but I can put translate now in and they can speak it to them and you can speak it, they can speak back to you what they want and then you can read it right here on your phone. I have translate now. I'm
True.
not trying to build that app up, but it's great. If you have somebody that speak another language, just have them speak into the phone. So I think what we need to understand is we
True.
have so many resources now that even in
Exactly.
the society that we live in right now, that we need to be um, more knowledgeable and have more understanding of our resources because our resources are just what they are. I bet you, I don't know if they had a video on TikTok. I bet you everybody be doing it just to go. Maybe we
Well,
need to do TikTok videos that people need to go get an annual checkup, and then maybe that'll spread and people go and get an annual checkup. I don't know.
you
Gotta think of something fun, huh?
you would have so many would go, but you still have so many. I mean, so many people follow so many different things. So everybody don't do TikTok. Everybody don't do Facebook. Everybody don't do so. But still, those that will, it'll be out there for those that would. So I mean, there's not one thing I think that where to be captive for everybody. So I mean, they utilize all the areas that you have that you have access to, and to get as many as you can. That's all you can do. Because I don't know nothing else working. Different type singing. It's just you got so many different things you got to do. So
Yeah, that is so true. So why do we do what we do? We want to go to the negative part. Hey, we'll just do it. Negative part of why do you do what you do? Sometimes we go into situations where we follow peer pressure.
true,
Sometimes we follow different behaviors. Um, it becomes a lifestyle sometimes,
true,
and you become attributed to that lifestyle. So one thing people have to understand is that start assessing why you do it and see what are the good things or the negative things, or if you have more negative things when you're doing those negative things, and you probably don't have positive things if they're negative things,
right.
then why are you doing it?
Question.
Why are you doing it? That's
Sometimes
one thing is go ahead.
sometimes you do so much negative things that you get so far into it, you don't know how to return to the positive. So I think learn how to go there and just be still and ask for guidance. That's the main thing. But nobody want to do that. Everybody still want to do something. They still want to constantly do something, and they still be doing the negative. So that's why people that do drugs, they know it's not helping them, but they continue doing something instead of just stop and act for help. You go so far.
I totally agree with you. But then again, we want to talk about because we don't want to just harp on drugs, but we want to talk any addictive behavior.
True,
That can be sexual, that can be overeating, that can be overspending, that
true,
can be a lot of things. Over shopping,
true.
where it's an addictive behavior that it leads you to a negative situation where you loss of money in many areas, loss of time, hoarding. It's a lot of things where people over something, overindulging or overcompensating something for something else. So if you're in that situation, seek help, seek medical professional, a licensed medical profession, so you can get help in that area, whatever that addictive behavior is. We might have some people online that have addictive behavior. Why do you do what you do? Why do you have that addictive behavior?
My
Why do
different
you continue to smoke? Why do you do different things? That's totally up to you, and that's something that you have to answer for yourself. That's why I had this special moment to where you can actually ask, why do you do what you do? And you need to ask yourself in the mirror. If we can just do a little exercise, and I want people to think about this when I say it. Every day that you wake up for the next 7 days after you hear this podcast, ask yourself in the mirror when you get up, why do I do what I do?
Mm-hmm.
7 times. Trust me, you will start seeing change because now you have identified and you accepted that some of your things that you do probably are not right.
True.
Some of the things you do may have to be adjusted or changed.
True.
So that's a great way to start. So once you hear this and once you listen to it, I'm just thankful that we're here talking about this because so many people don't stop and think about it.
True.
And that's one thing that I had to do. My transformation is, why do I do this?
Hmm. My addictive behavior was always saying yes. I couldn't say no to people. I had to learn how to say no sometime when it really infringed me or put me in a position. I always wanted to help people, but I was helping them to the point where I wasn't helping myself.
Right. Seemed
So,
like I picked up that trait.
Ah,
so I had to learn
right.
how to say no. And when I said no, it hurted me because I wanted to help. But I had to realize I needed some self help first. So I had
And
to
welcome, welcome, Moment of Caris Army. If you have anything you want to say, if you want to come on up, just drop us a thing in the chat. Go ahead, James. I'm sorry.
no, that's all right. I mean, basically what I wanted to say was that was that was one of the things I know for me that was an addictive behavior.
And if you definitely want to speak, Moment of Caris Army, the topic is, why do I do what I do? And we're really just putting it in whatever you want to talk about, whether it's negative or good. But the thing is, what we want to do is emphasize. Number one is, we do what we do for a reason. But sometimes
Correct.
it can become so addictive that you unconsciously, not knowing that you're doing it, but you're still doing it. So we want people to realize, why do you do what you do? Regardless of what it is, it's not a specific job, it's not a specific task, it's everything that you do. And start self-assessing yourself. What that self-assessment looks like, that you wake up every morning and actually look in the mirror and you ask yourself, and you can say, self, why do I do what I do? And think
Yeah.
about, what do you do when you go throughout your whole day? Why do you do that? So that's one thing that we talk about. So he left. I guess he didn't want to talk about what he did. We understand. We do understand. But we need to start asking ourselves, why do we do what we do? And then one thing that I tell people, I actually start writing things down so I could notice. I'm a visual person. I like to
Hmm.
look at it and write it down like, ugh. It looks bad when it's on paper. Looks real bad. So, and you can count the number of times that you do it or to go throughout the day or just do different things that you know you should not be doing.
Mm.
And that's for each and every person. And only you know. We're not saying that everything people do is bad. What we're doing is
True.
saying, self assess yourself. It's about you. It ain't about us. It's about you. So that's
Mm.
why how we want to start off in this new July that's coming up. June is already gone, and here comes July. So,
Hello.
any other questions? Any other comments, Gerald?
Yes.
You have anything to say to our live studio audience?
Oh, other than, as far as doing what you do, let it be something that you do as far as yourself and not following someone else into things that take you out of your character. Let it be things that's going to be positive for you. We all do negative things at some point or another, but make a conscious effort to try to do the things that's going to be positive in your life and hopefully in turn be positive in someone else's life, but mainly in yours, so that you can be able to change yourself, because we've learned over the years that we can't change anyone else no matter how much we want to.
Mhm.
We can't change anyone else. We can offer them direction, we can offer them suggestions, but we can't change anyone. The only person that we can change is ourselves. So do the things that's going to be positive for yourself, and in turn hopefully lead you into a better life for the future.
Oh, come on, wisdom dialogue.
Yeah.
James, any words of wisdom before we leave today?
Only the fact of only what you do for Christ will last. And I know a lot of people don't, maybe not even understand that, but once you embark or accept spirituality and repent and believe that He did die and was resurrected, thou shalt be saved. After that, that becomes a moral lifestyle that you should lead and would help you to build your spiritual self. And believe me, you will see life differently through spiritual eyes. And I really like to impress upon anyone that the spiritual world is if I may use this terminology, is a more realer world than the physical world. This physical world is going to leave or fade away, but the spiritual world going to be forever. So I would impress upon anyone to really surrender to the Holy Spirit and let Him lead and guide them. And I really appreciate the opportunity for this show. And it just you wish that more people. I mean, it's just like you be talking to the choir, talking to those that you want somebody that to really hear where they could absorb and be a part of. But you can't make everybody, just like Gerald said, you can't make everybody learn or do. All you can do is suggest and give them the opportunity to do so. Thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. That was words of wisdom, words of wisdom. It's one thing that I actually posted on Instagram. And for those who want to follow, is at The Rise Creating a Voice. On Instagram, on Twitter is Creating Rise. And on Facebook is Judah Bernard 35. But one thing that I posted on Instagram is sometimes the most productive thing you can do is relax.
So, very
And that's
nice.
by Mark Black. One thing is we don't take the time to relax. We're consistently going. I'm constantly going. One words of wisdom that I want to leave today is start assessing yourself. Start assessing where you are in your spiritual walk. Start assessing yourself in outside of your environment.
Mm.
How many people can leave their environment and still survive?
So,
Mm.
Most people can't do that. Leave your environment and still survive.
mhm.
Just know that we have to make sure that we are taking time to know who we are,
See that?
know who you are in Christ. Um, this is not a race to the swift nor to the strong, but to the one that endureth until the end.
See that?
One thing we have to understand that no matter how hard things get, we have to be able to stand. Like James said, that the word is the word and it's never gonna change.
No.
You got to know what you need in life, what's going to sustain you, and actually get you to be a productive citizen in today's society. It does not take a rocket scientist to do this. It only takes some time and processing for you because we have so many learned behavior and traits inside and instilled in us. We become bogged down or overwhelmed that we don't know what to do. So when you actually take the time to start assessing yourself and shedding off some of those old behaviors and putting on some new traits that identify closely to you and only you, then you can become a better person.
Right.
So what we have to do is we're here every Tuesday. Like I said, I apologize once again for last Tuesday. Had a lot going on, but here I am back on the Podbean Live and live streaming every Tuesday. If you want to join every Tuesday, it's at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we just want people to know that we're still here. Remember, the Rise Creating Your Voice is in 7 continents. We are all over the world. I started seeing some of my statistics today. I finally had time to look at my statistics again. And I'm proud to know that Mississippi this month y'all have like 444 downloads. So good for Mississippi. The month that I'm here, y'all want to listen. But Mississippi is out there today. This month they are really popping this month. So I'm thankful for that. My home state is finally listening to me. Usually I have about 2 or 3. But I thank God for just getting the message out. We're here every Sunday on Instagram Live at Jules Mentoring LLC and at The Rise Creating Your Voice. So that's Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to come on, make sure you pop on. We had a great topic. I actually lost that live. It is why is order important? Oh my gosh. We went in and we had fun. We had fun. We had fun. I was out here in the where the internet don't pick up too well, and I lost connection and lost everything. So, but it's good. You know what? Wasn't meant to be. I keep it moving. I didn't sweat, didn't fret. I kept it moving.
That's
Um,
it.
Any other questions? I know Greater Tabernacle Ministries meet every Wednesday for Bible study at 6:40,
15.
6:15 Central Standard Time and 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. Whatever time you're on, even if you're on Mountain Standard Time, I guess that's 4:15 Mountain Standard Time. So definitely, if you want to join in, you can start through the Start Meeting app. You can go to 3Sims 3 on the Start Meeting app and just type that in and it will pop up. That's 3Sims 3. That's THREESIMS 3. The number 3. And also Sunday is church. Every Sunday is church. Sunday school is at
8:45.
8:45 Central 8:45 Central Standard Time and 9:45 um, Eastern Standard Time, and also that would be 6:45 Mountain Standard Time if you want to join in on Sunday school. And church is immediately following that. Also, we have repairing spiritual relationships at Greater Tabernacle Ministries on the Start Meet app. You can put in 3Sims 3. That's THREESIMS 3. The number 3, and actually come in on every second Tuesday of every
Thursday.
month where I'm sorry, I'm
Every
all over the place.
Thursday.
Every second Thursday of every month, um, repairing spiritual relationships. And we're talking about church hurt. We need people to come on because basically we're talking live and you can bring up any conversation. Let us know. We don't need no names of people that hurt you. We just need the situation and we don't need no church names, no nothing. Just tell us abruptly what happened and let's move forward from there. But we
Exactly.
want to just speak very general about church hurt and making sure that we're repairing the spiritual relationships because some relationships have been tarnished by different things that happen in different areas and different buildings and different things, cultures and everything. So we want to have that discussion. So we have an open dialogue about that too as well on every second Thursday of each month at 6:15
Correct.
Central Standard Time, 7:15 um, Eastern Standard
Eastern.
Time, and that'll be 4:15 Mountain
Uh,
Standard Time. So make sure you come on and join in. I think I got everything. Is there
if they
anything
just
else you
want
want
to
to?
be on, if they just want to be on the conference call line, they can dial in 774-258-6705. You don't have to put in no access code. All you do is dial, and you be coming straight into online conference call line.
All right, y'all heard that. So guess what? Let's go ahead and get that pen, get it writing. If you can't remember it, go ahead and rewind back so you can get the information. Okay. We're looking forward to having everyone on once you listen to this. And if you don't like to be on, just send out an email. You can email me at thetrjudah@outlook.com. And that's TheTrJudah@outlook.com. Always remember to tell a friend, tell a foe, tell your spouse. Heck, tell everyone, and we'll see you on the next podcast. Have a good night.
Have a good
Good
night.
night.